(6:15). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Lavani Vijitunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, and the Asia Infrastructure Facilities Investment Bank have expressed their willingness to support Sri Lanka. A court order against the protest march of the HND students. The CID is currently recording statements from the IGP and the commanding officer of the STF on the attacks at the two main anti-government protest campaigns. The Minister of Power has requested the public to refrain from obstructing the fuel transportation activities. In news overseas, the US President and South Korean counterpart Yoon agree on strong North Korea posture at talks in Seoul. Those were the headlines, and now we move on to the details of the local news. The World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, and the Asia Infrastructure Facilities Investment Bank have expressed their willingness to support Sri Lanka during the existing economic crisis in Sri Lanka. Issuing a joint communique, the bank said that special coordinating meeting was held to have a common plan among the three banks. They are scheduled to take measures to maintain the livelihood and the basic needs. The attention has also been paid to providing medicines, gas, fertilizer, and financial assistance to the country. Colombo Fort Police has secured an order from the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court today against the protest march organized by the HND students. As per the court order, the HND students are barred from entering several roads, including the York Street, Bank Street, Chaitya Road, Lower Chatham Street, Leiden Bastion Mawatha, Sabaran Jatilaka Mawatha, Mudalige Mawatha, Hospital Road and the Canal Road. Accordingly, the convener of the HND Students' Union, its members and others who are joining the protest march will not be allowed to enter the aforementioned roads. They are also asked to refrain from resorting to violence or unlawful conduct and to carry out the protest march without causing damages to any public institution and official residences in the Colombo Fort Police Division or obstructing the duties of the officers in the area. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. The Criminal Investigation Department is currently recording statements from the Inspector General of Police, C.D. Vikramaratne, and the Commanding Officer of the STF, DIG Varna Jayasundara. The CID is obtaining statements from the police and the STF chiefs with regard to the attack on the two main anti-government protest sites outside the Temple Trees and the Golf Green on the 9th of May. Minister Kanchana Vijayasekara says that there is no need to fear regarding diesel and petrol. He requested the public to refrain from collecting stocks of fuel. The situation has severely impacted the distribution and the management of fuel stocks. At present, stocks of petrol and diesel is being provided continuously. He also stated that the sufficient stock of fuel is received within the next 2 weeks. Plans have also been made to distribute fuel to the market during the next few days. He requested the people not to obstruct the fuel distribution and the queues for the fuel will end by Monday. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, and the Asia Infrastructure Facilities Investment Bank have expressed their willingness to support Sri Lanka. A court order against the protest march of the HND students. The CID is currently recording statements from the IGP and the commanding officer of the STF on the attacks at the two main anti-government protest campaigns. The Minister of Power has requested the public to refrain from obstructing the fuel transportation activities. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The main news story for this evening, Commissioner General of Examinations LMD Dharmasena said that all arrangements are being finalized to conduct the GCE Ordinary Level Examination on Monday. The SLTB and Private Bus Owners Association have planned a special transport service in this regard. There will be no power cut during the night time through the examination period. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepu Vedamahatmya.
This is Watchlight.
A policy decision has been taken to suspend the supply of fuel to filling stations located in areas where distribution process is obstructed by protesters, says the Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijayasekara. Taken to his official Twitter earlier today, the lawmakers said organized groups are preventing fuel trucks to pass certain areas, demanding the stocks be unloaded at different fuel stations. These groups are also threatening to set fire to the fuel trucks, the minister said further. The minister has stressed that fuel deliveries would be suspended for the safety of the transport workforce if the conduct persists. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the world news. The US President and South Korean counterpart agree on strong North Korea posture at talks in Seoul. Tornado in Germany injures 43 individuals. 80 cases of monkeypox confirmed in 12 countries. Those were the headlines, and now we move on to the details of the world news. US President Joe Biden and his South Korean counterpart Yoon Suk-yeol met in Seoul today. It was the first meeting between the two leaders. They agreed to strengthen their countries' combined deterrence against the growing threat from North Korea. The two held a joint news conference after the talks. Biden said, "Today, President Yoon and he committed to strengthen their close engagements and work together to take on the challenges with the regional security, including addressing the threat posed by DPRK by further strengthening our deterrence posture and working towards the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula." A tornado left 43 people injured as it cut a path of destruction through several towns in the western Germany, police said. Officers in the city of Paderborn said the tornado ripped off roofs and debris was strewn around for kilometers. 10 people have been seriously injured, with a woman's life in danger, they said. A 38-year-old man has also died in severe storms which lashed through the region yesterday. Police posted images showing trees felled or split in half and roofs stripped of tiles, while images on social media appeared to show a tornado spinning column of air flinging debris. More than 80 cases of monkeypox have been confirmed in at least 12 countries. The World Health Organization has said another 50 suspected cases are being investigated without naming any countries, and warned that more cases are likely to be reported. Infections have been confirmed in 9 European countries as well as the US, Canada, and Australia. Monkeypox is most common in remote parts of Central and West Africa. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. The US President and South Korean counterpart agree on strong North Korea posture at talks in Seoul. Tornado in Germany injures 43 individuals. 80 cases of monkeypox confirmed in 12 countries. That was the world news, and now we move on to development news. A mangrove tree planting project in the coastal area in the northern province is implemented by the Navy. The project is also being carried out in the Mandathivu Island and in the Jaffna Lagoon. And that came to you in the segment of development news.
Sports news is brought to you by
Sampath Bank, we present your future.
Moving on to sports news, the hard-hitting stroke maker Bhanuka Rajapaksa and the 19-year-old all-rounder Dunith Wellalage have been included in the provincial ODI and the T20 squads in order to prepare for the forthcoming Australian cricket series of Sri Lanka, which will commence on the 7th of June. Bhanuka Rajapaksa, who was not included for the recent ODI and T20 series due to fitness failure, has been recalled for the ODI and T20 26-member squad, while national under-19 skipper Dunith Wellalage is included in the provincial squad. Rajapaksa is presently involved with the ongoing IPL tournament, while Wellalage is in England for the emerging cricket series. That was the sports news. Business news up next.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, DMO, a leading diversified conglomerate in Sri Lanka, together with Allianz, one of the largest insurance and financial service providers in the world, recently introduced a motor insurance and claim settlement scheme designed for DMO's Tata customers. The partnership is focused on assisting the customers to reduce costs incurred during conducting accident repairs through exemption of the owner's payable portion for Tata vehicles within 5 years of the date of manufacture. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
And in economic news, Ministry of Health says that the World Bank has taken measures to provide $73 million to purchase medicines. Minister Keheli Rambukala said that the said finances are to be provided under 2 categories. Accordingly, $23 million in the first stage and $50 million under the second stage are to be provided. That was economic news and the weather report to conclude.
The weather report.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department says that showers will occur at times in the Sabaragamuwa and central provinces. Meanwhile, several spells of showers are expected in the western and northwestern provinces and the Galle and Mathura districts. Strong winds of about 50 km per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the Central Hills, northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in the Hambantota and Trincomalee districts. And before we conclude this bulletin of news, let's get back to the headlines once again. The World Bank, the Asian Development Bank and the Asia Infrastructure Facilities Investment Bank have expressed their willingness to support Sri Lanka. A court order against the protest march of the HND students. The CID is currently recording statements from the IGP and the commanding officer of the STF on the attacks at the 2 main anti-government protest campaigns. The Minister of Power has requested the public to refrain from obstructing the fuel transportation activities. And in news overseas, the US President and South Korean counterpart agree on strong North Korea posture at talks in Seoul. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.